Hello, this is Joe from Nerd in Korea. We are looking now at still our budget Mardu, red card draw, niche instance and sorceries. So we're getting into the ones. There's a lot of very good ones, but these ones are like very good in very specific decks. Okay, so let's take a look. So first of all, what do I mean by budget? I know I say this every time, but $2 or less than TCG market value? They are not a sponsor. No, they're not. Red card draws. So once again, card draw is not a strength of red in general. The instances and sorceries, I'd say, are better than average. The creatures and enchantments artifacts, not so great. These red instances and sorceries are very good in specific decks while not being suited to others. You should consider if your deck will benefit from the particular effects. So again, these are all about synergizing with your deck. If they don't synergize, don't use them. These are not like cards I would put in every deck. I've had commenters get very angry about these niche episodes and be like, oh, those aren't good, it wouldn't be good most of the time. It's like, that's what niche means. Anyway, okay, I'm just ranting now, but anyway. Honorable mentions. So all of these are 10 cents and under. Fast Furious. So once again, with these double ones, you choose one. You can only do one of the two. You cannot do both of them. Alright? Even if you copy it, you can't copy the other side when you're casting it. Alright? So, like if I cast it as fast, then I get my discard a card, then draw 2 cards. Okay, great. But if I copy it, it has to be fast again. I can't copy it and choose Furious instead. Anyway, Furious deals 3 damage to each creature without flying. Absolutely amazing in like a dragon deck or something like that. There's a lot of red flyer decks that can really get a lot out of this. Anyway, Coral's End. So as an additional cost of the spell, discard a card. So they're pretty standard like discard to draw thing. Again, draw 2 cards. So discard 1, draw 2 is much better, at least. Create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. This is... Oh, good. This is actually very good, especially if you're looking at like a Boros equipment deck. I think this would be great. And yeah, of course, in Mardu can kind of make use of the same strategies. So if you're doing like an equipment Mardu deck, this is wonderful because a lot of the time with equipment decks, the trick is actually having something to attach the equipment to. It almost doesn't matter what it is, right? You don't need the most amazing creature in the world if the equipment is giving it like a huge boost in power, toughness, and a whole bunch of abilities. It doesn't really matter what the creature is, most of the time anyway. Dangerous Wager. This one I think is interesting. Discard your hand, then draw 2 cards. It's draw 2 cards for 2 mana in red. That's crazy good, okay? Discard your hand. Obviously, what you want to do is you want to make sure you have no cards in hand, and this is something that is going to come up pretty quick. So yeah. Remember, this mechanic where it's like discard your hand, draw cards? That is a fairly common thing in red. You can find a lot of cards that do kind of the same thing, and their value is very, very high for the mana cost. First up, Ignorant Bliss. So remove all cards from your hand from the game face down. At the end of your turn, return this card to your hand, then draw a card. So what I was just talking about, discard your hand. What you do is you cast Ignorant Bliss, you remove them all, and then yeah, if you draw and get that, then you are able to play it, and you discard your hand, which is empty, and draw 2 cards, and then at the end of the turn, you put all your cards back in your hand, right? So basically, you've just added 2 to your hand. This is quite useful also if someone is using a lot of discard effects. You can protect your hand by just removing it from the game, right? Discard doesn't work if you don't have any cards in your hand. Yeah. Anywho. Yeah, 21 cents. Highway robbery. Okay, so you may discard a card or sacrifice a land. If you do, draw 2 cards. The land sacrifice can be actually very useful in some decks, right? In the right deck, that is going to be a huge tool. And it has plot for 1 in red. This allows you to basically exile it and you can cast it whenever you want without paying its cost, right? Oh, sorry, cast it not whenever you want. I meant whenever you want as in on a later turn. It is at sorcery speed though, so yeah. Anytime you cast a sorcery, you could cast it. So, this does, with the plot, the main thing about plot is that it will synergize with anything that's like, if you cast something from exile, you get bonuses, like Rocco Street Chef. I covered in my last green commander, or green color identity commanders. Rocco Street Chef, anytime you cast something from exile, you put a +1/+1 on him and make a food token. So this is something that you can manipulate very easily to get that kind of like casting from exile thing. If that's something you want in your deck, this is a great card, and 5 cents only for that. Overmaster. The next instant or sorcery you cast this turn can't be countered, draw a card. This is more of a Spellslinger card. I think there are Spellslinger Mardu decks out there, but less common than, say, Grixis or something, right? Anywho, this is like a perfect Grixis card, I guess, but anywho, yeah. The main thing is that you're protecting your instants and sorceries from counters, alright? So even if you use this as kind of like a bluff to like lure out some kind of counter spell, I think it can be good for that. If you cast this first with a bunch of mana open, they're going to expect you to cast something really bad next. So you can get them to use a counter spell, and then you can just like not even do anything. So it's fun for a bluff, but anyway. Ideally, you're actually using this and they go, oh, it's not worth it because, you know, I don't want to end up using 2 counter spells to counter 1 spell. And then, yeah. This basically guarantees you an instant or sorcery. It's only 1 red, and you draw a card as well, so it replaces itself. Very good. 71 cents. Oh, what is your favorite red niche spell in general? Not just card draw, but a favorite niche spell for red? Oh, and please hit like and subscribe. It really does help a lot. Okay, moving on. Cleansing Wildfire. Destroy target land. Its controller may search for their library for a basic land and put it into the battlefield tapped, then shuffle their library, draw a card. Okay, this is 1 in red. So the fact that it destroys a land for 2 mana is already very, very good. And a lot of people don't like land destruction. It's something you should have in your deck because someone's going to play a real pain in the butt land, especially if you're playing Commander. There's probably going to be a land that's really like tilting the game, you know, Cabal Coffers or something. Destroy that and they at least get something. I feel like that does help a lot. There's kind of like a saltiness with land destruction. If it's land destruction and they get to put a different land in, it's like, okay, you're not messing with their mana base. You're actually just kind of like taking away the other ability, which is a lot more fair. Anyway, the fact that it does destroy a land for 2 mana, already very impressive, but you draw a card on top of that. Like, any deck with red, I'm going to start putting this in all my red decks. I feel like I should write that down right now. All my red decks, I'm going to put this in because it just is. You're going to use it. You're going to use it. Finally, Fiery Gambit. Okay, so this is a flip a coin. I really like this mechanic. It is the most niche. There's like, even I was trying to find a good flip a coin commander and I couldn't really find a decent one in red at least. But anyway, there are ones, but they're yeah, okay. So you may stop flipping when you choose or when you lose a flip, right? So you start flipping the coin, and yeah, until you lose, you can just keep flipping, right? The thing, and it has different effects when you get different amounts. Okay, so if you win 1 or more, it deals 3 damage to target creature. 2 or more, it deals 6 damage to each opponent. For 2 or more, 6 damage to each opponent. Okay, so if you got like Crack's Thumb or something like that, Karek's Thumb, I don't know how to say his name, but yeah, it gives you an extra coin toss, and you can ignore 1. So there are ways to like really maximize this. That's like almost a $10 card now though. If you win 3 or more flips, draw 9 cards and untap all lands you control. Whoo! 9 cards and all of your lands untapped? That's basically an extra turn, right? Not quite an extra turn. Pretty much the same thing. If you're only flipping coins, it's not very likely. Like, let me think. It's 50-50, and the second one would be 25, and then the third one would be 12.5% chance of getting 3 in a row. But again, if you could do that, if you got something where like Crack's Thumb or Karek's Thumb, I should have checked how to say that. You can just keep making it 50-50 basically, right? So yeah. Anyway, 133 for that one, but draw a 9, untap all lands. If you can't win off that, I don't know. The list. Ignorant Bliss is 21 cents. Highway Robbery is 5 cents. Overmaster is 71 cents. Cleansing Wildfire, 33 cents. This is the one where I think people underestimate it, because it's like it doesn't really benefit things in your deck necessarily, but as a like you're going to use it every game. You're going to find a target that you want to blow up. So yeah. And Fiery Gambit, 133. This I think is like the most niche of niche I've ever put in a video, but it's an amazing card. Okay, anywho, take it easy.